Thursday, Plus Sports and PlusTvAfrica. My name is Wale Scott. Welcome on the show. Let me just read the story first, and then we'll talk about it, okay? Nigeria head coach Augustine Eguavoen has revealed why he is keen to bring Victor Moses back to the Super Eagles squad. The 31-year-old right back come right winger retired from international football in August 2018 after being part of the Nigerian squad which failed to get beyond the 2018 FIFA World Cup group stage in Russia. Moses, who has played for top European clubs such as Chelsea, Liverpool and Inter Milan, is a consistent performer for Spartak Moscow in the Russian Premier League. With the Super Eagles set to face Ghana in the final round of the 2022 FIFA World Cup qualification later this month, Eguavoen feels Moses will bring value to the national team. Born in Nigeria, Moses represented England youth teams under 16, under 17, under 19 and under 21 levels, but opted to play for Nigeria as opposed to being fully capped for England. The Crystal Palace Academy product made its debut for the Nigerian senior team in 2012 and earned 38 caps and scored 12 times before retiring from international matches in 2018. Now, Bukayo, come on. First of all, it was Gennaro Raw, and everyone was all over the place. Gennaro Raw, what do you want to do with Vincent Enyama? What is Aloy Agu, your goalkeeper trainer, doing to raise keepers? And when we made all the noise in the world, he now brought in Maduka Okoye and the rest of them. And now, I think our midfield is fantastic. I think our right back, Olaino, is doing quite well. And we have other people to actually replace him if we have to. Why do we always run back to people who have retired when we have problems? Can't our coaches move forward?
I wouldn't say it's an unwillingness to move forward, because let's face it, all national teams do this at some point. Sweden recalled Ibrahimovic at a point. When Shevchenko was recently retired, his national team tried to bring him back. The fact is, right now, Dani Alves is back at Barcelona. Sometimes these managers, these coaches have a tactical need that they feel a certain player can offer. And having a good right back doesn't mean that you don't still need a certain acumen for understanding the position that right back needs to play, but isn't quite mature enough yet to deliver all of the coach's requirements. Eguavoen knows Victor Moses very, very well. And don't forget, these players do not retire from international football because they are tired, because they can no longer play. It's oftentimes to prolong their club football. It does. He has been playing very well for
our detriment. Because you see, against Ghana, it's not going to be brain. It's going to be all brawn. Your physical strength. It's not going to be about how skillful you are. It's going to be how far you can run and be strong. And you bring back a 31-year-old player who I feel has played at the highest peak. He's played at Chelsea, Inter Milan, and you bring him back to play against a Ghana who are going to be all bronze, no brain.
Some of the most capable players when it comes to facing brawn opposition that is going to rely heavily on
their strength and speed.
Yes. Victor Moses may be slower than he was at 29, but his positional understanding is probably better than it was when he was 29.
No doubt.
Now, physically, is he going to be bullied? I'm not certain that's something we need to worry about. Because being mentally ready for a challenge such as Ghana, having the experience of knowing what these players can offer. And also, don't forget, a lot of us are worried about the fight back that Ghana can pull on us. The surprise that they can show on the day because of how badly they performed at the AFCON. But Eguavoen doesn't want to take risks. A lot of these players are risky options going into the game, going against a team they've not played in a long time. We haven't faced Ghana head-to-head in a long time, and a lot of these players are not familiar with how much aggression they will face. Victor Moses is very familiar.
Hopefully, he'll make it happen. Now, the question is, what is wrong with this man? Does he have a right to do what he's doing? Now, the world #2 men's tennis player, his name is Novak Djokovic, has withdrawn from the BNP Paribas Open in Indian Wells. The tournament announced on Wednesday, as yesterday. The Serb had been automatically listed in the draw for the tournament, but said he knew his refusal to take the COVID-19 vaccine meant it was unlikely that they will be able to gain entry into the United States. Now, Novak Djokovic says, I am not going to take the COVID-19 vaccine. I do not want it. Does he have a right to do this?
Absolutely, he has a right to do it. It's his body. We don't get to force feed him food, so we don't get to force feed him medicine. He's an adult, so he's not beholden to a parent or a guardian. The international community doesn't get to enforce that. However, the international community, the sporting community, do have requirements to participate. If you are in somewhere like America, for example, and you're a child, if your parents want you to play with other children in kindergarten, the government has policies that the measles vaccine is a necessity. The polio vaccine is a necessity. The chickenpox vaccine, necessities. If you want to bring your child to play amongst other children, then you definitely have to have them vaccinated.
But considering the wreckage, the chaos that COVID-19 has caused in the past few years, what do you think is taking place in the mind of Novak Djokovic to say, good, I'm not going to take the vaccine. I don't want it. I know it's causing problems. I know people are dying of it, but I just don't want it.
I think there are a myriad of reasons. But I think that what is going on in his mind, like many other people who do not want to take the vaccine, is that this is a foreign object, a foreign substance, that a government institution, governments around the world, institutions of sporting institutions are trying to enforce on someone. Now, I would say that the major reason is fear of the unknown, fear of not knowing how his physiology will react to this vaccine.
And how it could affect his competing.
Yes, I don't believe, it's not like he's one of those people who has said COVID-19 isn't real, or it isn't dangerous, it isn't killing people, and the vaccine is a government conspiracy. The fact is, the technology that has gone into making this vaccine in record time is completely new and untested. And oftentimes, 10 years, 20 years down the line, we find out something about a previous drug that was taken years ago, that the consequences of which could not be foreseen until it presents itself. Some of them are rectifiable, but some of them aren't always rectifiable. And if he feels like his physiology, he will be slower, he will,
or sick or something,
or sicker, and will not get back, because the vaccine requires them to actually use elements of the actual virus. If he has never been sick, if he has never tested positive, you're talking about introducing the virus, even if it's a small dose, just to trigger his immune system to fight it. It's still a risk him and many others don't want to take.
Now, let's look at the Uefa Champions League. I hate to do this. I hate to make... you see, if you notice, Mukaila has a big head. So if I say anything that's going to make his head swell again, it's going to be bigger and could just burst. So, but he mentioned it. He said Real Madrid could just make a comeback against Paris Saint-Germain. And I was, well, he's vindicated though, because I said, no, PSG can make it happen. And he was like, no, Mbappe is not there. Neymar plays to the gallery. And I wish I could play that back for you. But he was so sure that Real Madrid could get a comeback against Paris Saint-Germain. And they did. Let's look at the results from Tuesday and from yesterday. We have that here. But of course, let's start with Bayern Munich. They are murderers, really, if you ask me. When they want to win, they win well.
The truth is, Salzburg never had a chance. They were Real Madrid. Bayern Munich made some tactical mistakes in the first round. They faced a team that was coming at them with a 4-4-2 diamond formation, which meant a lot of their strength in midfield was concentrated in the middle. Bayern Munich did not utilize the spaces out wide. In this second leg, they did that, and it forced Salzburg to have to compensate, to have their two wider midfielders stretch out to follow the ball, which created spaces everywhere on the pitch. And and this is Bayern Munich. They could do this to a Barcelona. They have done this to a Barcelona. They could do this to a PSG. They have done something similar to PSG. And it just tells you that Salzburg, as good as they are, their league, as interesting as it is to watch, they are not a European powerhouse. And Bayern Munich, if we're talking about nuclear states, if we're talking about superpowers, Bayern Munich are that. And they show no mercy when they get on a roll.
Now, you mentioned something. You're not vindicated, though. You said Liverpool should win the match. But we actually played a visual of Jurgen Klopp saying complacency could set in. But we saw Mo Salah hit the bar like a million times. Yeah. You know, we saw Luiz do so well, but it just didn't work out for them, you know. But they lost against Inter.
Yes.
1-0. We have 2-0 there, but 1-0. But they still qualified. We expected that, though.
Well, yes, we expected Liverpool to qualify regardless. I expected the game against Inter Milan to be exciting. It didn't really pick up life until the 60th minute abouts when Lautaro scored, and that promised a huge finale to the match. But then Sanchez, who had a previous reckless challenge in the same match, got sent off.
And the coach got sent off too.
Yes.
Now Man City against Sporting.
Man City, honestly...
They didn't come to play ball.
I felt, yes, I mean, there were a number of faces that aren't a regular parts of the first 11 on a week-to-week basis. This time around, I would give credit to a Sporting for even managing to not concede at least one goal.
Yeah, true.
Because even a second or third 11 of Manchester City
can still play anyone.
Can play anyone. So it's incredible that they managed to secure a 0-0 draw. If only they had that level of generosity on the part of Guardiola in the first leg and that level of focus for them, then maybe they would have had a chance in this second leg.
West Ham manager David Moyes sees his side's difficult draw against Sevilla in the Europa League as a great opportunity to test themselves. The Hammers travel to Spain for the first leg today before welcoming the second-placed La Liga side a week later. That's next week. Moyes was full of praise for Sevilla, who have won 4 of the last 8 editions of the competition, but welcomes the challenge of facing Julian Lopetegui's team. West Ham are going up against Sevilla. Sevilla actually they are the owners of the European League, the Cup. They own it. They've won it 4 times back-to-back. They will always win it. But West Ham, Moyes sounds very optimistic and says, yes, it's a problem. He dreads the draw, but he can make it happen, actually. Who does West Ham have to make it happen?
Lopetegui is a very capable tactician. He's also a very clever technician. He knows how to set up a team to play very expansive football. He would have done very well at Real Madrid given the opportunity, but, you know, he was saddled with a rebuild without Ronaldo. Sevilla are powerhouses in Europa, 4 times champions, and they haven't slowed down playing fantastic football in the last 3 years. They've been playing very well, and Moyes is very right. if they can manage, if West Ham can manage to beat them, it will be a great testament to just how well they've been doing. West Ham have been very surprising under Moyes. I don't think anyone expected that he would come in, turn them from a mid-table team to quickly European football contenders. And Sevilla will be a worthy challenge for them. A very worthy challenge.
Well, now the Court of Arbitration for Sports has announced that the Russian Football Union will appeal its ban by FIFA and Uefa from club and international soccer, as well as seeking to overturn the ban. The RFU is also seeking a stay, which would allow its teams to compete pending a full decision. Last week, a legal expert said that FIFA and Uefa have a strong case that allowing Russia to participate in international and club football competitions amounts to a force majeure, and the current ban should remain in place. Russia want to appeal the ban. And you're asking yourself a question. We said that, and I don't know why I've been vindicated too much this morning, really. You were talking about politics being taken away from sports. Sports should, but unfortunately, it always bounces back somehow. But Russia wants to appeal and say, listen, it is politics. It not concern us now, really.
The truth is, on the one hand, it makes logical sense to me and to many others that Russia should not get to participate in international sporting competitions when those sporting competitions...
Do you think it's fair?
I think
it's not their business.
I think it is absolutely fair because these sporting organizations are promoting unity. How do you promote unity at your games, at your events, when there's such a divisive entity at play? Currently engaging, not in a defensive act, in an aggressive, overt war against its own neighbor who posed no threat to them initially. This would be like going back to when the Nazi Germany were allowed into the Olympics. I don't think, back then it seemed like a necessity because the Olympics wanted to remain neutral. But it's
remember
impossible.
When that the American guy who stretched his hand up and won the Jesse Owens or something.
Yes.
And he did it in front of Adolf Hitler.
Hitler left the games early because of that statement. But in this day and age, with our collective wokeness, with our intolerance against tyrants, and our intolerance against things that upset us, I don't think it's possible, I don't think it's right that we can keep an Adolf Hitler or a Vladimir Putin led Russia at any games, knowing that they could potentially be competing against Ukrainians. And are we going to punish the Ukrainians?
Or even the US?
Or the US, when they say they want to boycott, they don't want to face Russia, an international aggressor.
Look, let's see what they have to say about their appeal, and we'll come back. More problems for Russia. Now they want to appeal the UEFA ban. Now they want to appeal the Europa League ban and all that, and why matches can't be played. How can you go and play a match in Russia, war-torn? Russia is at war. Ukraine, they are bombing Ukraine. How can you go and expect them to play a match anywhere near
the argument
Russia, Ukraine?
The argument that Russia might make that why in other cases where there have been wars, why hasn't FIFA, UEFA, the Olympics, why haven't they all banned whatever nation was fighting a war at that time? I would argue that yes, that is true. They should. In every one of those cases, when Israel started shelling Palestine, that should have been a consideration. And the Palestinian who refused to fight an Israeli at the Olympics should not have been dismissed. But unfortunately, the world did not pay attention at that time.
Okay, thank you very much, Mokael. Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa. Thank you very much, Tayo. Behind the cameras, you can't see him, but he makes you see us. Thank you very much, Shay. Thank you very much, Francis Indem. Thank you very much, Belema. Of course, thank you okay, up next is Tea Time. And of course, Miles is on Tea Time and is a big Man U fan. So stand by to watch that one. Of course, I'll leave you with still more problems for Russia. A former Russian Formula One driver, Nikita Mazepin, has joined his oligarch father, Dmitry, on an EU-sanctioned blacklist. That happened on Wednesday. I'll leave you with that and the visuals on that one and the voice on that one. Join us same time tomorrow, Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa. My name is Wally Scott. Like I always advise you at the end of every show, if not for anything, at least for your heart, do some sports.